Autoimmune diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis, MS, and fibromyalgia affect millions of Americans, and the problem is getting worse every year. In this episode, we visit with renowned scientist Dr. Vojdani to discuss environmental triggers that can lead to autoimmune disease and what you can do to minimize your risks. Major funding for Immortality Now was provided through an educational grant from Enviromed Sciences. Enviromed Sciences offers exclusive NASA and NSF certified technologies that remove more than 99% of indoor air, water, and surface toxins. Get peace of mind protection for your home, family, and office. To learn more, go to enviromedsciences.com.
I'm Dr. Ron Klatz with the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. In this issue of Immortality Now, I'm very pleased to have Dr. Vojdani, who is going to be telling us about autoimmune disease and what can be done to protect ourselves. The doctor has a recent article in Alternative Therapies, a very well published scientific author with over 160 peer-reviewed papers to his name. And thank you for being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And I know you're an expert in the field of immunology and microbiology. Immunosenescence is a major problem, and autoimmune disease is a major problem affecting everyone as we age, not so much in young people, but we reach a certain age and things start to fall apart from our immune system. And that's very problematic, and I know your laboratory is focused on those issues, so please update the viewers of Immortality Now as to why that's happening and what we can do to prevent that from happening to us, because it's robbing many of us a very youthful lifespan as well as actual lifespan.
That's an excellent dialogue. According to Autoimmune Disease Association, 53 million Americans suffering from autoimmune diseases. And we have two choices. Put them on immunosuppressants and let them suffer. The other choice we have, like the question you asked, what are the reasons behind these autoimmune diseases and increase in the number of autoimmune diseases? According to National Institutes of Health, the research done with twin studies, they concluded only 1/3 of autoimmune diseases are associated with genes. The other 2/3 are associated with environmental triggers. The environmental triggers, such as infections of all kinds, toxic environmental chemicals, and of course some dietary proteins and peptides due to actually food additives. Example, artificial food coloring. Chemicals are everywhere in our food, and we are consuming those on a daily basis.
And flavorings?
Yes.
And neurotoxins?
Yes.
So we're under assault on all sides. It's not just the environmental toxins, but it's also the food and the air and the water.
Absolutely, all the above. We have two different ways of measuring toxic chemicals. One is to take blood and urine and look at the levels of those in the urine. But if I tell you that right now I'm standing here in my blood, I have more than 700 toxic chemicals. And 93% of tested individuals have bisphenol A, which is from plastic, in the urine. Most people believe that chemicals are in, chemicals are out. That's not the case. Maybe that's true in 70% of the cases. But 30% of the chemicals or their metabolites bind to human tissue, form neo or new antigen. So, simple example. Okay, bisphenol A. Get into our system.
Now, bisphenol A is in almost all plastics.
All plastics, yes.
Right, and is in the coating, like when we drink a can of soda, the soda is in an aluminum can, but they don't want the aluminum to be leached out by the acid in the soda, so they coat the inside of the can with plastics, but that's not helping because inside that plastic is bisphenol A.
Absolutely,
Okay.
it's bisphenol A.
And it's the same thing with almost all foods that we get in cans, or even, we don't use glass anymore. So it's either plastic or it's plastic.
That's right. And part of our anti-aging, I will call it anti-aging duties and responsibilities, is to educate people. If we don't educate the physicians, the clinicians, the chiropractors, the NDs, that this is bad for us, and they have to remove that from the environment of their patients, then they're not going to see improvement, because 70% of autoimmune diseases are induced by environmental triggers.
So you're saying that the packaging is as bad as the chemicals themselves?
Absolutely, yes.
So even if we remove the chemicals or we detoxify the patient, if we're not doing something to eliminate the packaging, we're not solving the problem.
Exactly. So what's the value of putting a patient on detoxification, and then the patient goes home and drinks in plastic bottles, the cooking in microwave and Teflon, and so you are going to rebuild the load of the chemicals. And some of those chemicals can bind to human tissue, and now the immune system is going to attack your own tissue. That's the mechanism of autoimmunity. What is autoimmunity? Immunity against self.
How many years of life do you think that this toxic load is taking from the average individual? If we lived in that Shangri-La, that perfect environment, how much longer do you think the average individual should live than they do in our corrupted environment?
Okay, I believe, personally, again, I believe that God gave us a gift of 120 years.
Okay.
Okay? It is all depends on you and I and each person. What are we doing with that? And also, I sincerely believe that toxic chemicals and other environmental factors taking away from each one of us 20 years.
We're manufacturing all sorts of things now with nanotechnology, and that the waste products are finding their way into the water systems, into the food, into the air, and it's finding its way into our bodies.
I'm so happy that you asked that question. An article published by Dr. Lerner and Matthias. Dr. Lerner is from Technion University in Israel. Matthias is from Germany. They looked at direct correlation between food additives, including nanoparticles, including meat glue, which they call it bacterial transglutaminase, gluten, many other factors, salt, sugar, all these together. They found in the US and Europe 10% increase every year. 10% increase the use of these ingredients in the food. When they looked at autoimmune diseases, the curve is exactly the same thing. The more we use nanoparticles, the more we use meat glue, the more we use artificial food colorings, you find direct correlation with increased percent per year of autoimmune diseases. And among the most devastating autoimmune diseases, they found that number one is neurologic autoimmune diseases, such as multiple sclerosis.
How about
ALS.
Alzheimer's?
Well, of course, first we are talking about neuroinflammation, then after that, neuroautoimmunity and neurodegeneration is the next step. Of course, autoimmunity and neurodegenerations are...
So we're literally poisoning ourselves with these advanced technology products that we're just putting into our food supply without thinking or testing.
That's right. That's right. So that article in Autoimmune Reviews, 2015, published 2 months ago only.
Now, you've been in this specialty for a lot of years. Okay, certainly longer than the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine, and we've been around for 25 years now.
Yeah, I'm working in the field for 45 years.
45 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you so
great.
much. Thank you.
Now, and so you're a pioneer in this field.
Thank you.
What, in those 45 years, just give me 3 things, the 3 most important things you've learned that you think are going to have an impact not only on your health, but on the health of everyone who's out there.
The 3 environmental triggers.
Okay.
1, infections. We have to pay attention to our oral hygiene.
And stealth infections. There are
we
many
have-
people
yes,
with infections
yes,
who
yes,
don't even know
yes.
they have them.
We
Yes.
have to pay attention to our gut, because in the same article that I was talking about, Dr. Lerner showed that all these food additives opening the tight junctions, when the tight
And
junctions
leading
are
to-
open, that's a gateway to autoimmunity and
That's leaky
neuroimmunity.
gut syndrome,
Leaky
and
gut, yes.
everything bad
Yes.
happens after
Yes.
that. Yes.
So that's number one, infection. Number two, toxic chemicals. And number three, some dietary components that if for example, if I'm sensitive to gluten or casein, these days we know that some food antigens cross-react with human tissue, causing autoimmunity. So again, one more time, environmental triggers, infection, toxic chemicals, dietary components, which all of them can affect the integrity of the gut and blood-brain barriers. If we can find a way to remove these triggers and repair the barriers, we can increase the lifespan of individuals, which we are interested, at least by 10 years.
At least by 10 years. I agree with you entirely. Yes. And for Immortality Now, I'm Dr. Ron Klatz, representing the American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. Thank you very much, Doctor.
My pleasure. Thank you. For
God
giving me
bless,
this.
and
Thank you.
we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.
Immortality Now is made possible through an educational grant from Enviromed Sciences, offering exclusive NASA and NSF certified technologies that remove more than 99% of indoor air, water, and surface toxicants. To learn more, go to enviromedsciences.com.